Hello everybody, my name is Chef Rob. Today we are going to make a strawberry festival bread with a vanilla glaze on top. Here in Long Island we always have a strawberry festival around June, but the strawberries we can get them from all different regions all year long. The best ones are those local ones, right? So always try to buy local if you can. So let's start by using the dry ingredients, putting them together, and then we'll go on to the wet. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Always make sure you kind of overfill it, and then make sure it is nice and smooth, just like that. Okay, if you are not a fan of strawberries, this is very easily changed with blackberries, blueberries, raspberries. Easy to do. Okay, so you can make it a blueberry festival. And then we want 1 full teaspoon of the baking soda. Just kind of shake that with a little clump there, just until it's nice and even. Put that right in. A ½ teaspoon of salt to bring out the flavor. Always use the salt in baking. Very important. And then a ¼ teaspoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon and strawberries together go really, really well. And then we're just going to mix this and go on to the wet ingredients. Take a whisk, mix that around really well. Just keep it all in that bowl. Okay, perfect. So let's take an egg. Bring this to room temperature. Always take it out about an hour in advance. And now we are going to take 3/4 of a cup of white sugar. Make sure you take that full amount for the correct moisture and texture of the bread. And then we just want a 1/4 cup of the light or dark brown sugar. I am using the light here. Make sure it's nice and soft, nice fresh brown sugar, and then whisk it until there are no more brown sugar little clumps, and it's only one consistency. Okay, let's take 1 full cup of the buttermilk, bring that to room temperature. Let's give it a little shake because it's usually a little thinner on top and all the thickness at the bottom. So 1 full cup. There we are. Now you can put in 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil, canola oil, or melted coconut oil. I'm using 1/3 of a cup of the canola oil. So we'll put that in there. And now we want 2 full teaspoons of the vanilla extract. This will give it a nice flavor with the strawberries and the cinnamon. Now we're going to whisk this all together. Just make sure you get all the bottom, all that sugar that's kind of settled there. The bottom, go up against the side of the bowl. I can smell a really good flavor in this. Buttermilk with bread really always works out really well. The same with when you're making like little biscuits. Buttermilk is excellent for it. Scones even. Okay, so we're going to take our wet ingredients and we're going to pour them slowly into the dry. Make sure you get everything from the bottom of the bowl. And now we're just going to whisk this just until everything comes together. And then we're going to work on our strawberries. This is going to go into a 350 oven. It will take from 50 to 60 minutes to cook. And then you fully want to let it come to a cool it, and then you will put on the vanilla glaze at the end, and it will make it really delicious. Just want to make sure any of those little lumps are out of there. Get all that white off the side of the bowl, because that all belongs in the batter. Okay, just like that. Let's do the strawberries. We want 1.5 cups of chopped fresh strawberries. Don't use the frozen with these. You're going to chop these very small. You want to wash them really good, and then you want to pat them dry. You don't want any extra moisture. When we are done cutting these, we're going to take about 1 tablespoon of flour and just toss it. And what that'll do is help them prevent from sinking in the batter so that they're all on the bottom. You want them to go throughout the whole bread. Okay, so let's start cutting the strawberries, and we're going to do 1.5 cups. Again, if you can get the local ones, and you're just going to cut them just like this. If you can get 4-6 pieces out of it, that's great. Even if you want to give it a rough chop like that, it just goes throughout the bread a little better. This bread is really good as a brunch, just something to nibble on, and great for snacks or the breakfast. So very good all times of the day. And we should have about 1.5 cups. Before we measure them, let's just take a little paper towel, press it very, very lightly. I had them in a bowl, so when they got washed, as you can see, the paper towel absorbs any excess water. The less moisture, the better. Measure out 1.5 cups. This is a 1.5 cup measuring cup. So I think we're right on target here. Okay, that's good. We're just going to throw these in here. We just want to fold them in very lightly. Don't overmix it, because if you do overmix the batter, you get a rubbery type bread. Okay, so as soon as they're folded in here, that is good. And you are done. We're going to spray a 9x5 loaf pan. You can put it in the disposable ones. You can put it in a dark one. Dark one will help it cook a little bit quicker and give it a little bit of a darker look on the outside. Very important when you are baking this, put a piece of aluminum foil either on the rack above or kind of loosely around it, because you don't want this bread to get too dark. Okay. And it will be, again, 350 oven. Just a quick light spray in there. Now let's just get all this good, really tasty batter in here. It won't overflow. It will just make a really nice high bread. This will freeze excellent if you make 2 at a time or don't finish one. It'll last a couple days, and then after that you would want to freeze it. Let this cool on a wire rack when it comes out of the oven. And again, it will take about 50 to 60 minutes. And just use a little toothpick to put in there. Make sure this batter in the corners are all nice and even. And this is ready to go into the oven. And now we'll make our glaze. Okay, let's make our vanilla glaze while the bread is in the oven. We're going to start with 1 cup of the powdered sugar. So 1 full cup. Just kind of shake it level. And then a ½ teaspoon of the vanilla extract. I've made this before where I've put almond extract in there, and that is really good as well. And now 5 to 6 tablespoons of either heavy cream or whole milk. Start with 5, whisk it around, and then you will know the consistency that it's a nice glaze. 4 and 5. Okay, we're just going to give this a good whisk. It should really coat the spoon, almost like a really nice glaze that you have on like a glazed donut. It's getting there. I want to get rid of all of the powdered sugar that is on here. So I have 5 tablespoons in here, and you could take it and you could just kind of go just like this. I'm just going to put a splash, not a tablespoon, but just another little splash in there, and that will be a beautiful consistency. And get all that powdered sugar up against the side of the bowl. Okay, it should be nice and thick. And just kind of go like this right along the top of the cake. You can take a little spoon. Our strawberry festival bread is out of the oven. It took 60 minutes. We let it cool. And now this is when you always want it to come out nice and easy out of the pan where it doesn't stick. Make sure it's cool all around. Put it right on here. And we made our vanilla glaze a little earlier while the bread was cooking. And now you're just going to drizzle as much or as little as you like on here. It depends how sweet you like it. So if you don't like it too sweet, you can always cut the recipe in half of the glaze. And keep this in a Ziploc bag with all the air out until you're ready to enjoy it. And now you can just garnish this with some nice fresh strawberries. Like that. The red and the white go really good together. You could slice just a little bit. And just kind of place them around right on the bread, especially if you're about to serve this. And always you can garnish the plate with some blueberries, especially if it's like July 4th, Labor Day, Memorial Day. And this is our strawberry festival bread. It took 60 minutes in the oven. Let it cool for about a good 10 minutes on a wire rack. And this is perfect. Super moist inside, a lot of flavor. I hope you enjoy this. Stay well.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites